Hey guys, this is Steliefti with Close.io. This morning I was just talking to a really good friend of mine that was about to go into a massive presentation with a company that has tens of thousands of employees, and his presentation for his product would be in front of the board of directors. So, multi-billion dollar business, massive opportunity for his company, and what he wanted was feedback for his presentation from me. So we went through them slide by slide. He showed me what he wanted to present to them. And the format of the presentation was pretty simple and pretty beautiful and well done, right? It went from here's the big vision of where the market is going. Here's the trend that you cannot miss out on. Here is how our solution plays into that trend and into the market shift. Here's the risks if you don't act on those massive market trend and changes in the market. And here's how our solution stacks up with everybody else in the market. Right? It was a beautiful presentation. It was really pitching the vision, pitching the market shift, and claiming that making the changes on massive organization today would be crucial. Otherwise, they would lose out in the future. I loved the presentation, but there was one thing that was missing. After brainstorming with him and actually understanding a little bit better, what his entry was to that board meeting, I understood that he had one board member on his side. He had one or two presentations with that board member, and that board member got so excited that he wanted the entire board to actually see the presentation. Here's the one piece that was missing for his presentation, and something you can learn too when you have to present in front of a group of decision makers where you only have one champion and you don't really know who else is going to join that meeting and that presentation, and you don't really know what the dynamic is between those different board members. When you have a champion, that's beautiful, but you have to expect that nobody else really knows too much about what you're going to be presenting, and you have to assume that in a group of people there's always going to be one person that's particularly critical. What I told my friend to do was to add one more slide, a slide that was focused on the most critical person in the meeting, the guy or gal that doesn't want to do the deal, that sees through the bullshit, that doesn't like it, that doesn't want to do it, that will bring up all the risks, all the things that are critical, risky, or bad about the deal. And instead of just doing a big presentation that's all shiny and rosy and talks about all the beautiful things that are going to happen to the world if they adopt the solution, he needs to end and should end the presentation not on a high note, but actually on a low note. He should add a slide that goes through the risks in the most critical way possible. And we started brainstorming, hey, what are the most critical things somebody could say about your solution, your company? Well, he said, you know what? If they bought our solution, they would be the first large company to do so. All right, cool. Let's add that as a bullet point. If you buy our solution, let's go through the risks. If you actually buy our solution, congratulations, you're the first large organization to trust us. Right? What's the second one? Well, there might be concerns about security and the way that we deploy our software. Cool, let's add that as a second bullet point. What if this isn't secure? Or is this really secure enough? Or even better, probably this isn't secure enough. And we went through it and we added, I think 4 or 5 bullet points on that slide that were super critical and very, very negatively worded. And that's really important. You don't want to shine a light, a bright neon, yellow light on those and make them look good. No, first you have to shock the audience by how critical you are about your own company, service, and solution. And you go through the last slide and you say, you know what, we talked about the trend in the market, we talked about the shift and change in society and how it's going to affect your business moving forward, and we talked about our solution and how it compares with others. Before I end the presentation, I want to go through some risks and some reasons why you should not buy our solution. You go click that slide and you go through them. Number 1, you would be the first large organization to actually buy our solution, right? And trust us. Number 2, we're a really small vendor. Who knows if we're going to be around tomorrow? Number 3, are we really secure enough? Probably not for the high standards that you guys have. Number 4, and you go through them, 4 or 5 critical points. And once the shock value, once people are really shocked and you can tell that people are like, what the hell is going on? Does this guy not want us to buy? Then you address them. You actually go through them honestly, authentically, but also in a really smart way and address a solution to each of these problems. Number one, you be the first one. Well, listen, every business and every new service has to start off with the first customer that buys. And to be frank with you, we have 30 other large organizations in our pipeline, and we know within the next 3 months, we're going to have 5 customers. You can be one of them, or you can wait and next year buy from us as a little bit of a later adopter. Either you're a visionary early customer or you are a late customer. One way or another, I'm sure that you're going to be a customer and we're going to welcome you either way, either today or tomorrow. Number two, security. Is this really secure enough? Well, let me go through all the steps that we've taken to make this work, and let's brainstorm together what else we would have to do to actually make this work. And you go through these slides and address these critical issues before the critical guy on the board can actually bring it up, and before he can kill your presentation by, at the end of the shiny, positive presentation, raising his hand and saying, you know what, do you have any other customers that are as big as us? Do you have anyone else that bought this already? Are you really secure? This is the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is you go into a board meeting, you make a presentation, you are all positive, all vision, all mission, all big item thinking, and then a board member shoots you down and actually asks a few critical questions and brings down the entire energy in the room and affects every other board member in the room. You want to proactively address the issues before somebody else can, and also you want to show the audience that you're confident enough to actually talk about the most critical issues about your business. You're confident enough to actually talk about the things that are bad or risky about your solution or product or company, because that's going to make them comfortable. That's going to make them confident. They're going to think this guy is grounded in realism and not just in shiny, big thinking dreamland, but he's actually rooted in reality, and he knows what the critical issues are, and he has solutions for them, and he's confident enough to proactively bring them up and not just wait around for us to do it. And you know what happened? He went into that meeting, and later today we had a phone call, and he told me, dude, that was the greatest feeling ever. When I went through everything, I was a little nervous, and then we got to the last slide. There was one board member, I could tell the entire presentation just didn't have his smile, his enthusiasm. He was nodding, he was not really having it. And then we got to that smile, and the board member leaned forward, and his whole body language changed, and people were shocked. And at the end of that slide, I had them, and they were excited. They started brainstorming. They started, coming up with all kinds of solutions, how to make this work. They got engaged, and that guy started smiling, and I knew I had them. So next time when you pitch somebody, especially somebody important, and you get them as your champion and they bring you into their organization, you have to present in front of a board or a group of stakeholders. Make sure that your presentation is not just positive and not just selling why your company and product is the best thing in the universe, but make sure that you don't just sell to people that are already sold or easily sold on your solution. Make sure that you also and especially address the most negative person in the room and give them one slide, preferably at the end, where you address all the critical things proactively instead of waiting for them to come up organically in the group, and with that bring down your presentation and potentially kill your chances of success. All right. I'm super pumped that this little exchange with my friend changed the outcome of his presentation and hopefully will make for an amazing first customer. I hope that insight is going to help you guys close bigger and better deal today and tomorrow.